Da-na-na, da-na-na. It's Nerds and Words. I also stole that from ESPN, so don't sue me. I have no money.
I don't.
We're doing
Don't
everybody.
people
This is
sue us.
episode 6. Episode 6, Kevin can't talk because, well, I'm a copywriting fiend. So.
No, it's fine.
I was like, what? Kevin's lips were moving, but I heard nothing for the first time.
We got copyright striked, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh.
They cut the audio.
They cut the audio. They stole the whole show, too. They're like, nope.
They really did.
You and your 18 listeners, that's being generous.
It's being generous.
We got a good show for you tonight.
Oh, yeah.
The word is hyphenated. Kevin's pointing to it. It's actually what if. We're going to discuss some stuff. We're going to get kind of deeper into the nerd part of Nerds and Words here.
Finally, because I've been waiting for this.
Listen, man, you're like 50% owner, so you should have said something. But you
Owner?
didn't. Yeah, sure. Co-founder.
I'm a strong 49%. You have 51. So honestly, you have controlling interest in the group. So it's kind of on you, bro.
Oh, wow. So
I'm officially donating 1% of my ownership to you just so I can say that.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. I'm the majority owner, and Kevin will do anything to avoid responsibility. What if, Kevin? But no, we're gonna discuss some stuff tonight. This podcast, this episode, this 1 hour block of yours and our time. Just kind of go over some stuff. Me and Kevin's got different, like, varying interests in the nerd world. So we're going to kind of just throw out what if scenarios for us to discuss, maybe put a little bug in your ear to maybe get you thinking.
See what you think about it.
The question of the week is not anything related to that. So we're going to keep the theme, apparently.
Well, we don't make any sense whatsoever. The algorithm does not know what to do with our videos.
Yeah, the algorithm's like, they're like, you guys are the kid in class that's both, quiet and loud, and I don't know how to deal with you.
You're the quiet kid that when he sits next to the actual quiet kid, he starts asking him questions when you shouldn't be talking at all.
Yeah, that's Kevin. Kevin's the kid that shouldn't be talking at all, but he is.
Wait a minute. Wait, what?
You said that you used to get in trouble a lot for talking in school, so.
I did.
Yeah, I remember things. I'm not that old.
I am. Yeah, I was a talker in school. I'm a talker now. It's kind of why I came to you and said, hey, let's do a podcast. I need to talk.
That's true. And I guess that means I'm also a talker, so I'll take it.
Word.
All right,
Get
Kevin.
It, Nerds and Words.
He said the title. This is peak. We don't get it. It doesn't go up from here. It only goes downhill from here. So
dislike, unsubscribe. We'll see you in the next one.
We had a good run. Didn't even make it out of season 1.
Nope.
All right, Kevin. Question of the week is a very serious one.
Oh snap.
Okay, I need you to put on your thinking cap, be it tinfoil, graduation, imaginary apparently.
I'm the first one to put on a tinfoil hat, so don't ask me that.
That's fair. I need you to concentrate and focus all your energy on this question.
Bring it on.
You have to bet your life savings on a fight. Okay? I don't know why you have to, but I'm forcing you to. There's your reason. I'm forcing you to.
Yeah.
The contestants, 2 very distinguished people that are not prone to fighting. In the red corner, we have the one, the only, first president of the United States, George Washington.
Okay, corner 1, George Washington.
Corner 1, George Washington. In the blue corner, we have none other than Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln, okay.
Freed the slaves, proverbial fought for their freedom because he didn't actually fisticuffs anybody.
Right.
Washington, he was a general. He was in wars. But Lincoln, I feel like he hit the gym. So you have to bet on one. Who would you take in a fist fight? Only fists, not pistols, not knives, straight up knuckle action.
Let me make sure I understand the question correctly.
Yes.
You want me to bet $6 on who would win in a fight between George Washington and Abraham Lincoln?
Yes, $6 exactly. No change. I need you to put down everything you have in the bank right now on one of these people.
Abraham Lincoln, no contest.
Oh, you're taking Lincoln. All right, why are you taking Lincoln?
Because I'm pretty sure. No, don't take this to the bank or anything. Because I don't know nothing, but pretty sure I seen on the History Channel Abraham Lincoln was a vampire or something like that.
Yeah,
that may have been FX. I don't know if it was History Channel or not.
Definitely not History Channel. He was a vampire hunter, not a.
I didn't even watch the movie. I just saw the title and I was like, cool.
You're like, this is a weird documentary, but okay.
I thought it was History Channel. That's my bad.
Kevin's taken Abraham Lincoln because he's obviously a vampire. That's solid reasoning. I'll give you that. He did only go out at night, and yeah, that's all the reason I need.
He freed the slaves, but that was more of a guise to get those vampire hunters off his back.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Well, just for the sake of argument, I'm gonna take Washington.
Okay.
I feel like if he can lead his men across the Delaware, he can lead those hands right upside Abraham's head. Four score 40 punches ago.
Abraham Lincoln said, "You too busy trying to catch these slaves. You're about to catch these hands." Stupid camera.
Camera.
I hate it.
The camera didn't like your answer, so it said no. Yeah, just cover up your face. We'll get more viewers that way.
We probably would.
I'm just kidding.
But right, no, so yeah, that's messed up.
You're taking Lincoln. I'm taking Washington. Washington is on the quarter, and Lincoln's only on the penny. So,
all right, here's my argument. I don't think either of them would win in a fight.
In this day and age, no, because they're dead.
They're both dead. That was literally where I was going with that. They're both dead.
Resurrect them, just like Frankenstein.
We'd be millionaires. We wouldn't be doing this podcast.
Well, no, we would do this on the side just to talk about our projects.
On the side? What side? Bro. On the side.
This would be a daily podcast because we'd have nothing else to do.
Play Magic the Gathering and talk about that time we resurrected George Washington and Abraham Lincoln just to fight, and then we killed them again.
Yep.
Right as soon as Abraham Lincoln wins the fight, I'm going to walk up to him and be like, listen, there's this movie playing in town.
Awful bold of you to assume Lincoln would win. Maybe I take out.
Oh, it's
Lincoln.
Not an assumption. I'm telling you. Oh, you're saying you're saying you're gonna take him out before Washington does. Okay.
It's my would you rather question, so I can make up the rules as I go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who Whatever would you say, audience? Would you take the courageous Abraham Lincoln, or would you take the wooden teeth chatterer George Washington?
Well, here's the thing to remember, folks, is that he did say you have to bet your entire life savings on this. And if I know anything about this generation, is that we don't have savings. So what do you got to lose?
I did look at our demographics, and they're mostly people our age and a little bit younger. So yeah, they probably don't have.
Nobody's got savings. I went into a guy one time, and it was at a time where I was trying to do better financially. I'm trying to do better now, but at the time I was trying to do better. So I started putting some money from each paycheck into savings. And he said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm going down to the bank, throw some money in the savings account." He said, "Savings?" What's that? And he just left.
We've never. That word has no power here.
It's rough, man. It's rough out here on the streets.
Kevin, we're not on the streets. I'm literally in my extra bedroom.
Extra bedroom. I'm in my 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, that living room can be an extra bedroom if need be. Up a curtain.
Yeah, it's Coda's bedroom.
See?
She slept right now.
Slept right now. All right, well, this comes to the portion of the what ifs. Kevin has some expertise in comic books and trading card games and but yeah, that's it. I don't remember anything else that you told me, Kevin.
It's pretty much only ones that matter.
Okay. And
TV shows, movies, things like that. That's my
my
motif.
You have more expertise in like the real life shows, like that actually have humans playing the parts.
And now here's the thing: I do like animated and anime shows, but I will say you're probably into them more than I am.
Yes, I was gonna say my expertise is usually or is in the anime, Funko Pops. I think we share an expertise on a certain level with trading cards, since that's pretty much how we've become friends.
For sure.
So I think we're kind of like a Venn diagram. We kind of overlap in certain areas, but there's a lot of areas that neither one of us have a whole lot of expertise as much as the other one, anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree.
I think what we'll do is I have a couple things that I think we can both discuss. I have one that is more kind of geared towards me, and I have one that's kind of geared towards you. So I'm sure you have some stuff too. So we'll get through some stuff tonight.
Sounds good.
Do you want to kick us off, or you want me to?
I can. So while I like anime's cool. I've watched a couple that I thought were phenomenal. Now I haven't gotten into it to the point where I'm just like craving anime in general. It has to be something that's intriguing to me to make me want to watch it. But the one that got me into it was Death Note. I'm sure everybody's seen it. If you like anime, you like Death Note. And I've watched that show all the way through at least 4 or 5 times now. I've watched the movie reluctantly a couple times now. The only redeeming part of that movie is William Dafoe as Ryuk. That was a fantastic performance.
Willem Dafoe is just fantastic at playing like psychopathic entities.
Have you seen Lighthouse?
No, but I kind of want to watch it now.
Bro, Pattinson is a great actor, and William Dafoe is a great actor, and it's just these two just going at each other basically. In the weirdest movie I've ever seen. Very strange movie.
Was it good?
The acting was good.
Okay,
was
so
the movie good? In my opinion, I gave it a 5 out of 10. Not the acting was all 5 of those stars. They did a fantastic job. But the plot, man, and what happened, I was just like, bro, what?
Okay, fair.
Like make it make sense. It's one of those artsy films, in my opinion.
Oh.
But anyway, I'm way off track. Way off track now. Where we were at? Death Note. So my theory, or what if? What do you think about the theory that Light at the end of Death Note? Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing?
It has been out for a while now, so
yeah. So light spoiler warning. At the end where he dies.
Light spoiler warning.
At the end where he dies, what do you think about the possibility that Light was actually turned into a Shinigami?
I could see that.
What do you think about the possibility that if in the world of Death Note, reincarnation is a thing, and Shinigami really don't die unless they fall for a human, right? So Ryuk's only gonna die if for some reason there's an apple lady out there somewhere.
Yeah, fruit lady that he can just, he does love them apples, and I can't say as a blame. They do look pretty good in the anime.
They do. They do.
Your theory is, what if Light Yagami, after he meets his unholy demise, because he was, depending on which side of the fence you're on, some people see him as a hero, some people see him as the villain, depending on which side of the fence you're on. I like that theory. I think it's a possibility, but I also would need more information about the Shinigami because they aren't portrayed as like malicious or deviant. They're portrayed
More
as
bored than anything.
Yeah, and Light Yagami is not the bored type.
No,
So
he would shake things up.
he would, and I think that would probably cause a problem within the Shinigami world because he'd be like, "Well, look at me, I'm your god now," and they're like, "Yeah, we don't do that here." And
He's like,
so
I'm gonna be the god of this new world.
Yeah, this new world.
You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna take a potato chip and eat it. All the potato chips.
I love that. I love that line.
That scene in that clip. The first time I watched it, my jaw dropped because I was just like, they didn't just end the episode.
Yeah, they did.
With him seriously saying, "What was your okay?" So to sidestep the actual theory, two things. One of my favorite arcs in all of TV and movies is when the protagonist of what we're watching is the bad guy and is getting caught, even though he's been not getting caught the entire time. Similar to like Breaking Bad at the end. Again, live spoiler warning. Again, if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Like, watch some TV. Don't watch us. Pause. Go watch Breaking Bad, then come back.
The worst promoter I've ever seen.
They know I'm being honest, man. They know I'm being honest.
Come watch us on our social media, and you're like, don't watch us. Go watch.
Don't watch us. Go watch Breaking Bad. Watch that entire TV show, then come back. But Walter, like he's the bad guy, and the more you watch it, the more you go back and look at it, he's really the bad guy. And then he's the guy you're rooting for the entire show. And then he meets his demise at the end of the show. And like when he is getting caught, you're like, I don't know, it triggers an emotional response for some reason. And that's the same response I had when Light was getting caught at the end, when he thought he had made his ultimate plan come together, and he couldn't even contain himself. He was laughing so maniacally. And then honestly, it should have been L. We're just gonna leave it. I'm not even gonna make this debate. It should have been L.
I caught him.
Yeah, the fact that he bested L, and then this rando who's like an L, like the Black Widow Academy basically for L's.
Yeah. And he was called in.
Yeah, whatever that was. I don't know why that happened or why they played it that way. To each his own. I'm not saying he was a terrible character, but he was a terrible character, and it should have been L. But the fact that he bested him. Very passionate about this. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. That's what I want.
But those two parts of the show. I mean, that part of the show just kind of brings is what made it the ending so impactful. What was your favorite episode of the show? Or the one that got you? It doesn't have to be your favorite. The one that you were like, wow, like you were floored by that episode.
I would say probably not just one episode, but like the few episodes where L goes to school with him.
When they're playing tennis, bro?
Yes.
Dude. That was intense.
It was, and it just kind of like showcased the strategic and both intellectual levels of them, because they're going like, and it's a metaphor because they're going back and forth. The ball's in your court. No, the ball's in your court. And
it was so good. Like
was.
the intensity and the intellectual combat that was going on, along with the fact that they were both tennis champions for
Yeah.
whatever freaking reason. Like,
and Elle's out there playing barefoot and.
so my favorite episode is probably, in my opinion, one of the darkest, and that was the episode where Light got Ray Pember. Wasn't that his name, Ray Pember? Yeah. Well, that whole segment between him and figuring out how to deal with the fact that he had an FBI guy tailing him, and then he, he was like really on the verge of getting caught for the first time, not because of Ray Pember, but because of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so then he, like, in a stroke of genius, like on the fly, by the way,
Yeah,
he
on the
didn't
fly.
plan this. On the fly, just comes up with this plan that just perfectly works out, and he gets them both. It's insane. In the ending where she kind of walks up to a noose, basically hanging herself, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's Death Note, which I mean, judging by the title, obviously it's going to have death in it. It can be very grim, and not even in the sense and gruesome, but not even like a gory sense. Just you don't even see like you basically just see her silhouette hanging there, and you're just like, wow, that's like, especially with all the interaction before that, and Light being like this close to being caught. You know, it's a very impactful anime. But going back to your what if, I think I would like to think that Light would be Shinigami, but I think that him having that much power as a godly entity probably wouldn't be good, because
Nope.
I know he might be reincarnated as a god of death, but knowing his intellect levels, he's going to keep his brain. So
He'd be the first one to try to break the Shinigami rules.
he would.
And so I feel like he would be the one to kind of drop his Death Note onto Earth on purpose, and then try to manipulate the human into doing what he wanted. Whereas Ryuk didn't care; he was just bored.
There was a difference. Ryuk's like, take this and entertain me, and Light would be like, take this and do my bidding.
That's exactly how it would go.
Yeah.
Man's is evil.
Yeah, he'd be like, they can't kill me now. Oh my god. Oh,
it's so messed up.
and he falls into the same category as Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan.
Yes.
There's a fence, and it's a very low fence, because you're like, I could see your points on both for being the good guy and the bad guy, and it all depends on which way you go about it. I think there's more people hopping the fence with Eren Yeager, but Light was kind of like the first one, because we didn't really get that with Eren until the later seasons, which are just a few years ago, and Death Note's been out for a while now. So I think I kind of like that, though, because you're conflicted. I like that there was a moral gray area for you as the viewer, because you're like, well, I would do this. I would kill criminals, because maybe a world without criminals is great. But then at the same time, you're like, I have a lot of power, and I could do pretty much anything I want, because if nobody listens to me, I just kill them. And I think with an average human being with that kind of power, it would kind of go. It would go south a little bit, a lot quicker, because Light was able to prepare and plot and make sure everything was the exact detail to make sure his plan went well. If me and you had a Death Note, man, yeah, I don't know.
The part about Death Note that never made sense to me is because honestly the idea is so far fetched, right? Just a notebook that you can write stuff in that kills people. So the part about it that didn't make sense to me is how fast that L was able to come to the conclusion that that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because, like, honestly, like, you remember Light had this, like, whole contraption made up in his desk where if someone tried to get to it, it would, like, incinerate it or whatever. Like, all this stuff. in my head, if I had a notebook that was doing it, no one would ever come to that conclusion because it doesn't make any sense.
Right, like if I found a black notebook laying on school grounds, mind you, where that would be very common to find a notebook, I'm not going to be like, write somebody's name in it and see if they die. Maybe.
Well, it did tell him to do so in the book.
Well, it was, but like, I don't know. I think if it's set up like that, like it was in the anime, it would be a little bit curious. You'd be like, my hamster Fluffy, let's see, Then you kill your hamster, and you're like, oh god, I'm a terrible person. Bring Fluffy back. I don't know. I think average people, it would make for a completely different show.
I mean, it just wouldn't. They would be forever chasing like. What do you chase? Like, it's just if criminals started dying in prisons tomorrow, what are the people gonna think?
Yeah, they would be like, well,
or they just wouldn't care at all. I mean, that's also possible.
Yeah, I don't think there would be a middle ground. Honestly, I think they would either be mass hysteria or people would be like, well, good, criminals. The thing is, like, criminal is a very broad term.
It is.
Like,
because technically tax evasion is a criminal.
Right. So, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to kill the guy that didn't pay his taxes but leave the guy that was a pedophile alive. I'm like, I think there's a difference there. And I know which name I'd be writing, but I'm not going to say so.
Chris Hansen.
You can't. Chris Hansen.
Didn't he just get caught with tax evasion though? That's why I said that.
I think so, yeah.
The irony.
It's funny. Well, it's funny because he caught pedophiles too. So.
I know. That's what I'm saying. The irony. Can't do the time, don't do the crime.
Or the child.
We're gonna have to edit this out.
Let's move on to the next theory we got going on here.
What you got? Give me a what if.
Actually, this one's kind of geared towards you.
Okay.
It's from the comics.
Oh, great.
I don't know what your knowledge level is with the God of Thunder, Thor.
It's medium.
Medium.
It's medium.
That's like a 4.5 to a 5.5 on a scale of 100.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So it's a little bit higher than mine then. Anyway, I was looking up because I don't read a lot of comics, which is funny because I read a lot of manga, which is almost the same thing but backwards. And I come across one. It was a fan theory that a lot of Marvel comic book readers have kind of not necessarily agreed upon, but it's something that they've taken into consideration because it makes a lot of sense. And the theory was, what if Mjolnir, the hammer that he wields and throws and calls forth, and what if it is a sentient being? That's it. That's it. That's the whole question, Kevin. You don't have to. And it makes a lot of sense because
I'm on board with it. I think that's totally possible.
Yeah, because past judgment, you kind of have to know.
Well, look at
a sense of right and wrong.
Yeah, look at Stormbreaker, right? I mean, part of it was formed. Now, I don't know if this is comic book accurate, but recently in Infinity War and in game when we got to see Stormbreaker come into play, part of it was formed from Groot, who's a living being.
That's true.
And now Mjolnir was not formed that way, but I think that there's a couple of spots in the comics where it came up where it had like a sense of being.
Which, would make sense because for a hammer that would not be sentient, there's no way that it could make pass judgment on somebody trying to lift it. Be like, oh yeah, you're a good person. Oh, you're a bad person.
Unless it's a spell.
Unless it's a spell, but even still, I think, like, the spell itself would have to make the hammer at least somewhat sentient, because I figure at some point, if it was a spell, that it would have been dispelled by now,
Right.
to where anybody could lift it.
Because I don't think it's a spell. I think it's just a hammer.
It's a magic hammer.
No more. There was not a single more epic moment than when Cap picked it up in game, which was amazing.
Oh yeah, he had his half broken shield and he's wielding the hammer and just
Man, it was so cool.
Goosebumps galore.
It was between. Okay, so I don't know if you thought it was as epic, but the only scene that compared to that for me was the scene in game when they go back in time, and Cap is in the elevator with the scepter, and they're all like, "Give us a scepter," and he's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to run point on the scepter," and they're like, "No, I don't think so," and he just leans over and goes, "Hail Hydra." I don't know if you knew about the event that happened in Marvel Comics before that, but there was a comic book that came out where no one knew what was happening, but Captain out of nowhere just goes, Hail Hydra, and just goes rogue. And people are like, what is happening?
Yeah, I remember when that came out, people were losing their minds.
I was upset. I was mad when it happened because I was such a Cap fan. I was like, dude, what are they doing? Well, come to find out, obviously, because they introduced the multiverse, there's another version of Cap that came into play, and our Cap had been taken captive or whatever, and so it wasn't the actual Cap, but this dude was evil. He was a Hydra agent, and he was tearing it up. And then, obviously, when our Cap came back in to kick his tail in, he had Mjolnir for whatever reason.
He was just like, I need a buddy.
But here's the thing. There's other objects in the Marvel Universe that have sentience. Look at the symbiote suit and stuff like that. Especially if you read the King in Black arc for Venom. Did you read that?
No.
Or did you hear about that at all? So
I think I've heard a little bit about it, but it was from you, and it was a long time ago. So
Null, the god of the symbiotes, was this like, he came back and he was coming to kill. He was around before anything. He was like one of the first beings, and created the symbiotes or whatever. And he came back, and it was this whole thing. And so when you read the King in Black, we knew it was this big epic fight between Venom and Null. Well, the title of the book was King in Black, but that was because at the end, after the big epic battle, Venom got like these godlike powers, and he won, and he was named the King in Black, which was so cool, and the cool little twist, which I don't know how I didn't see that coming. It makes more sense now than looking back. But I'm just like, because I knew he was gonna win. I mean, like, in what world would the god?
It's Venom.
Which, speaking of which, there is the Spider-Man 2 game coming out. There is a reference that the Null swirl, the red spiral, is in the game, which means that Null could be in a future title, which would be insane.
That would be actually kind of impressive.
It'd be really dope if they did it. But all that to say, I think there is items in the Marvel Universe that have sentience, and I think if an argument can be made for any one random object, I think Mjolnir would be the one. So I think that's totally plausible.
I definitely have to agree with you. Because it's not something that I ever really thought about until I read that, and then I was like, wow. And then I'm sure you've done that before, where you've never really thought about something, but once somebody says it, all the logic and reasoning as to why it could be just comes flooding to your brain. You're like, oh, First off, I didn't even know I knew this information. Second off, it makes a lot of sense. And, there's always people that can kind of debunk it, or whatever the case may be. But I think that the hammer that the goofy god of thunder, let's be honest, he's goofy.
Well, the only reason that he's goofy, and I think the movies have done him dirty because they've made his movies out to be more comedies than anything. Thor should be the most powerful character in all of the Avengers, bar none. But in my opinion, he's been one of the weakest up until the Infinity War and stuff like that, because they've nerfed him. And the same thing with Hulk. See, that's the thing. There's plot armor, right? So there's these things they have to do, and things they have to do all these different things.
Plot armor, everybody except for Tony.
Yeah, like why? Which I think he wanted out at that point, which I get, but whatever.
He was like, I got a kid at home, I'm deucing.
But like the strongest characters. If you go and watch the first Hulk movie that was in the MCU, The Incredible Hulk, the one with Edward Norton,
Yeah.
that's the Hulk.
That's my favorite version. I mean,
Mine too.
no disrespect to Mark Ruffalo. I think he's a good Bruce Banner.
He's
I don't
fine.
I don't think I think Edward Norton kind of played it better. Played it a better Bruce Banner and played a better Hulk.
I was Team Edward Norton. From what I hear, he's a difficult actor to work with, which is why they ended up parting ways with him. But
But
yeah, that
let's not speak about Eric Bana.
about who?
Eric Bana, the guy
Who's that?
he played the Hulk after Edward Norton.
You mean before?
I'm pretty sure he was after.
Which one is that one?
Let me look it up real quick. But I'm pretty sure.
You talking about the one where it was like the fighting the dogs?
I think so.
That's before Edward Norton.
2003.
And he fought that electrical dude out in the woods or whatever.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was before.
It was before. It was like 5 years before.
Yeah, which it seems like longer in my opinion, but so he was fine as the Hulk. I didn't like that. I liked that movie where he fought the dogs and all that. That was kind of cool, but like the huge jumps he was taking in that movie was kind of cool.
Which is also more canonically correct too, because
yeah, the Hulk has done so many cool things, and we got a really good taste of the Hulk in the Avengers in the first Avengers movie. But every movie after that was a nerf to that character, and rightfully so because, I mean they couldn't just have an almighty Hulk reigning on every episode, every entry.
I mean,
but they did him dirty in Infinity War, man.
Yes,
Dude.
And
He got punched like twice by Thanos, and he was down for the count. Like what?
Yeah, no. Then
That's not the Hulk.
in the end game, he's just smart Hulk.
He's not even there. Or like in Infinity War, he didn't even want to show up after that. When Tony showed that he's like not even. Oh my god, I was upset.
Yeah, and I feel like that whole movie series could have just went in a different direction had they not nerfed their two. Like they're the Avengers. Like if you have a god and an Abomination, which is not the Hulk because he has a foe called the Abomination. You have those two, a radioactive super being. You don't nerf them. You make stronger enemies. Like that's how storytelling works.
In my opinion, they messed up in that area, but they did, and they also kind of shot themselves in the foot with Robert Downey Jr. because he played Iron Man so well that it became difficult for other characters to even come to terms with their character as much as he did, which kind of subtracted from the team. I think the only other one who I think obviously Chris Evans' Cap was phenomenal. I think that Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, also another great ad, and Sebastian Stan, is that right, as the Winter Soldier. Anthony Mackie is the Falcon. Scarlett Johansson is the Black Widow. All of them did a great job, but I still think Iron Man is outshines them all by a long shot.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland does a great job as Spider-Man, and I think that his addition was phenomenal as well. Civil War will forever be one of my favorites just because of that whole addition. And Black Panther as well. Black Panther as well. Chadwick Boseman, may he rest in peace. Great addition.
He was a phenomenal Black Panther.
both
in costume and out of costume. Like he was just
across the board.
Across the board, he was phenomenal. Say Tom Holland's probably my. It's kind of hard to say. Like I have the nostalgia for Tobey Maguire. I think Andrew Garfield plays a really good Spider-Man, but his Peter Parker is lacking. I think Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker was good, but his Spider-Man didn't have necessarily like the quick whip and the sarcasm. I think Tom Holland kind of found the middle ground a little bit better than the other two. That's why I can't really pick one because I got nostalgia. I've got the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I thought were great. It sucks that they never continued, but I think Tom Holland kind of nails it as at least for that era of Spider-Man. Because there's 400,000 variants of Spider-Man. So for the one he was cast for, I think was a good choice.
I think that, which is why I'll say that the Spider-Man Far From No Way Home. That's the most recent one, right?
Yes.
That's will probably go down in history as my favorite Spider movie of all time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What they did with that movie is just.
That's in my top 5 movies of all time.
I know it's fan service and all that stuff, but I don't care. It was amazing.
I was like, I was gonna because I went to the movies and I told my wife I was like, if the other Spider-Men are not in this, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, there's too much opportunity, too much setup, too many ways for them to be here, for them to not be here. I told her I was like, I'll get up and walk out. I don't care.
I love how so you had Tobey Maguire on one. I mean, you had Andrew Garfield fighting tooth and nail in the press. He's, I didn't get a call. I'm not in the movie. I wasn't there. I was like, I'd love to see it. I'd love to be there, but I wasn't there, or whatever. He's fighting so hard. Everybody's like, oh, we know you're in the movie. He's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not in the movie. I wish I was. I'm not in that movie. And then random fan runs into Tobey Maguire in the park, like, you in the movie, right? He's like,
yeah.
Oh my god! I mean, I kind of knew that they were in there as soon as they showed the Dr. Octopus was back. I was like, they're not bringing back the Tobey Maguire villain and not bringing back Tobey Maguire.
I told myself that exact same thing, except I also know that when I tell myself logical things, my heart gets broken. So I was still cautious.
That was the interview that Tom Holland did where he was talking about the stunt where MJ fell and then a Spider-Man jumped down to get her. And he said in that interview, he was like, that was a crazy stunt that you guys did. Well, I wasn't there, of course. And he kept talking. And I was like, what?
Tom Holland's a walking spoiler, so.
Dude, that dude is struggling from the day out. See, one of my favorite things is movies, and I love that when a new, like, just mainstream character gets a new actor, and that actor usually gets a chance to kind of show their stuff in other opportunities. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Tom Holland killed it in one of my favorite movies of the year that it came out. Why, I can't remember what year that was. I'll never know. It's called The Devil All the Time, I believe is what it's called.
Hey, you actually recommended that to me, and I watched it with him and Robert Pattinson.
Dude, Robert Pattinson is a Southern Baptist preacher.
But that movie was phenomenal. Like, from
beginning to end. Now, it was dark.
Oh yeah, it was very
dark. Bill Skarsgård and is that how you say his name? And then freaking Pattinson and Tom Holland and Sebastian Stan as the sheriff, and that the dude who played the psychopath, the guy who was like, doing the photographs of dudes with his woman, and then.
Oh yes.
Oh my god.
I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about because just the whole movie in a collective was just.
Oh my god. It was. I wouldn't rightfully call it horror though.
No, I would say it's more gothic.
Gothic thriller.
Southern gothic thriller.
And I couldn't see anybody but my dad and Robert Pattinson in that movie, and it made me laugh so hard.
And I can't.
For those who don't know, my dad's a Southern Baptist preacher.
I can't unpicture that now. So thank you for that. It's forever going to be in my brain.
Delusion.
And bro, he was convincing. I was like, man,
dude. I'll be honest. Pattinson. Obviously my instinct is to hate him as an actor because of because of Twilight. That man signed a contract and he wished he didn't. That's what happened.
I mean,
he doesn't. I don't know if he regrets the movies. I know that he hates the stench that comes with it, probably.
Probably yes, but I mean that movie like put him
on the map, right? But
put him all over the map.
If you watch movies with Pattinson in them, especially looking at Batman, right? Looking at the Batman, and
Yes.
everybody knew he said he was going to be terrible because oh my god, the guy from Twilight's playing Batman, dude, phenomenal Batman.
Yeah.
Gothic detective style Batman, and then you watch him in that movie like The Devil All the Time. Just a range of characters. He's been in so many things, and every time you see him in something, it's just a 10 out of 10. The man is just an amazing actor.
Yes, I think Twilight was just something that kind of like he suffered through it, but it ultimately paid dividends in the long run. I mean, yeah, Twilight was huge. He probably made bukus of money off of that, but just what came after that, the opportunities, I'd say probably was worth way more than what he made at Twilight.
I know everybody hates Twilight, but if you go back and watch Eclipse, the third one, if I'm not mistaken, don't butcher me in the comments if you like Twilight. But Eclipse, there was a huge battle in that one, and I knew that was the case because my sisters like Twilight, and like people I knew like Twilight, and I heard about that one, and like, oh, there's this huge werewolf and vampire battle in that one, so I actually wanted to see that one, not even for the characters or anything else. I just wanted to see this huge vampire werewolf battle, and so I actually went to theaters to see Eclipse, not knowing anything about the first. And it was so good. Not the movie, but that fight scene. That whole part was so good.
You were like in the lobby talking to you, and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm here for the fight scene. That's it.
It's like 3 minutes worth of a 3-minute scene for that whole hour and a half of terribleness.
Only went and saw the movies because a girl asked me to go with her, and I was like,
okay.
Girls don't talk to me normally, so I'm going to take this opportunity.
There's a dude I follow on TikTok who's dedicated his whole page to making fun of scenes in the Twilight movies. I thank God for him every day.
Everybody's got to have a purpose, I guess. We've gone way off track. We haven't even talked about our third what if yet.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it before we run out of time.
It's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn.
Because mine was Mjolnir.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
You don't have a third one. You don't have a second one, do you?
Nope. The reason is we kind of came up with this idea last minute, and I was kind of cram studying for this exam I had today.
You just full of excuses, aren't you?
Yeah, but I can come up with it on the spot. Here's what we're gonna do. All right,
you come up with one on the spot, and then I'll roast.
What if the Transformers universe?
Okay, right up my alley.
And the Fast and Furious universe.
And now you done killed it.
We're in the same universe. Here's the thing. Imagine this. I'm gonna paint a scene for you, and you tell me if it makes sense to you. Okay. Optimus Prime and the Autobots. They're all standing on like this side of this cliff, and they're looking out into the stars. And then what Optimus Prime does his thing. He's like, Autobots roll out, and then like they all like transform and turn into trucks and whatnot, and they're all rolling out. And then a Charger and a Nissan Skyline and a green Toyota Supra or something like that comes rolling down the opposite direction. And the trucks are like, oh, those are dope. And if you remember from the first Transformers movie, they can just like copy. So they're like all of a sudden they transform into those cars, and then Dom's like, hold on. Come back. We're family. And Optimus Prime was like, what?
So in other words, what you're saying is basically the Fast and the Furious, but they're using the Autobots as vehicles that they eventually just run off a cliff.
I picture Optimus Prime in the position where he's like in robot form and is going with a fist in, and then Dominic Toretto is like standing on his shoulder with like a bat or something in his hand, like ready to go. Your thoughts?
I don't have any thoughts. I'm just picturing like Ludacris from like the first or second films, just talking to Jazz, who is a very portrayed as a black man. So I can just
Jazz is hilarious.
I could just see them hitting it off. I could see them hitting it off with Mirage. So what would they call it?
Autobots for family. The Decepticons are teaming up with the Drifters in Tokyo.
What? I mean, there is like 10 movies of both, so they're probably in the same universe. They just haven't come across each other yet.
All right, I'm gonna throw a twist. I know this is already crazy, but I'm about to throw a wrench into the system here.
Okay.
In the same exact universe, Jurassic World.
Jurassic World with Transformers. Well, I mean,
and Dominic Toretto. Listen, so here's the plot line. Optimus Prime and his pals are on their way to go see Jurassic World because they bought tickets. And and Dom is like, "Yo, where you going, Opsy? Where are you going?"
Humans now because they're
they're just going. They're just walking around look at the dinosaurs. Like they're just doing their thing. And then Optimus Prime sees the Indominus Rex and he's like, "Oh, there's Grimlock, buddy."
Okay, so wait, you said that they're all part of the same universe, yet you said Optimus Prime is going to go watch Jurassic World.
No, not go watch it. Go to Jurassic World. Tickets to the park.
To the park. I thought you meant the movie.
Well, you got to know if Jurassic World was actually real, there would be a movie about it in real life as well. So you're both are accurate.
That Optimus Prime is now dumb enough to not recognize what Grimlock looks like and what an actual dinosaur looks like.
Yeah, he actually hops the fence to go hang out with his buddy Grimlock, and then he ends up getting into a fist fight with the Indominus Rex.
Viewers, listeners, wonderful people that have taken the time of their life to listen to us ramble. Transformers is like my number 2 favorite franchise of all time.
I know what your number 1 is.
And in the last 5 minutes or so, Kevin has managed to not only insult it once, but twice. Once by having them sacrifice themselves to the Toretto family, and the second time by saying that Optimus Prime, who is the leader of the Autobots and the most intelligent, aside from Wheeljack, cannot recognize his own fellow Autobot and mistakes him for an actual dinosaur.
Autobots, roll out.
What's he gonna do when they don't roll out? And he's like, I guess Grimlock's just not feeling it today. He's a little bit under the weather. Maybe he's just gonna go eat some other little tiny dinosaurs and then he'll fill up the par. Is that what you're telling me, Kevin?
No, not at all. What I'm telling you is that Optimus Prime had a rough night, and so the next day he wanted to blow out some steam by going to the Jurassic World Park. And when he got there with his buddy Dom, who he's like best friends with now, because he changed from a truck to a Dodge Charger now. Just letting you know, he's now a
not iconic at all, but okay.
No, it's super iconic. He's a Dodge Charger, but he's red and blue, and he's and he's like walking around the park feeling better, and he sees his buddy Grimlock, and he wants to go talk to him because he had a bad day. He goes to talk to Grimlock. He realizes it's not Grimlock, and then the Indominus Rex ensues to attack Dom, and then another wrench. Are you ready?
No, but go ahead.
Iron Man shows up.
Well, yes, him and the Thundercats, who are now best buds because Tony Stark is an animal activist, have decided to show up and help
And
out.
then, yeah, right as soon as they get ready to fight, from the ground rises Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Says, "I'll take you on." And then Dominic Toretto ensues to fight with Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, and then Optimus Prime is in the back on like a throne type deal, kind of in the Shao Kahn position, but it's
But he's not.
Optimus Prime.
I thought he was in the fight. Now he's just
No, no,
chilling.
no, 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 no. They were all getting ready to fight, but then Scorpion showed up and challenged them all to a beatdown, and then that's when it doesn't make any sense. But this is what happens. And then Optimus Prime is on the throne, and he's like, "All right, to fight," and however he says it in his Optimus Prime voice, and then Grimlock actually shows up, and he's like, "Oh, there you are. Well, who's that?" And then the T-Rex eats them all, and that's the end of the movie. And then the Power Rangers show up at the credits scene, end credits.
They're hanging out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Only Ralphie shows up.
You mean the Last Ronin?
Yeah.
It's Michelangelo.
Well, whatever.
His name's Raphael, not Ralphie.
Ah.
Kevin, that might be a record for insulting the most amount of fandoms that you possibly could.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll top it at some point.
I know what your first favorite franchise is, though.
And what's that?
You said Transformers was your second.
It was.
Made in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's not a franchise at all. Kevin's favorite franchise is Sonic, where he gets watered down Dr. Peppers.
Don't even talk about that.
It's a food franchise. Kevin, what is my number one franchise? Let's see if you know me.
Dragon Ball Z.
There you go. All right, he does know me.
Vegeta shows up also, and then gets stomped on by Optimus Prime.
And then Spawn's there in a maid outfit trying to clean up the mess because him and Deadpool were lovers.
Okay, hear me out though. A buddy cop film with Spawn and Deadpool, where one of them has to wear a maid outfit the entire time, would be hilarious.
This episode is brought to you by Kevin's imagination. May it be twisted and going nowhere. Kind of like the roads of West Virginia.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's the title. This episode is brought to you by Kevin's imagination.
That's a rough title, but we'll go with it.
They're all rough titles, Kevin. This is a rough podcast.
Pretty rough, bro. I don't even know what to call this last 15 minutes of this episode. I'm so sorry, you guys, that you had to listen to that. If you did listen, I'm sorry.
If you did listen, I hope you did listen. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that
I kind of told them to quit listening a couple times earlier. I'm sorry.
You did, and I really need you to stop that.
Well, like stop and go watch the entirety of Breaking Bad and then come back.
You did tell them to do that, so they're going to be gone for quite a while.
I take it back, but I'm going to reinstate it with go watch all of Breaking Bad and all of Better Call Saul because it's top 10 of all time, and then come back and continue.
When you're done with all that, go watch Parks and Rec.
Well,
we're just going to tell you to watch all these shows but ours. And
if you could also work in the time to watch Prison Break, that would be great.
That was a phenomenal show.
Oh, it was a 10 out of 10.
It was.
It was between Prison Break and Game of Thrones for a while for my favorite show of all time. And then Breaking Bad, and then Better Call Saul. Dexter was on there for a while. A lot of good shows out there, man.
I haven't seen any of them. Also, listeners, I haven't seen Star Wars. I haven't watched Lord of the Rings. I did watch the Hobbit movies, if that counts, but it doesn't count because apparently they were butchered. So
doesn't count.
My favorite part was where Benedict Snubbersnatch was the dragon. That was
I
wonderful.
know more about Lord of the Rings from the Magic the Gathering crossover than I ever did from the movies or books.
Because Kevin can't read.
I can read.
Just likes little pictures.
I don't.
Don't tell me you don't like shiny pictures. Okay, you play Magic. I know better.
I do like shiny pictures.
Uh
Tune in next week when we talk about the next commander deck I'm building.
huh. Our biggest what if is what if we could stay on topic?
We ain't doing that. Stay on topic.
Topics are for people with not ADHD. I don't have ADHD.
All right, man. Hit us with a positive note for the week. Or is it my turn to do that? Because you do them all the time.
I do them all the time, but we also don't have a title for this yet.
A title? I thought we did.
What was it? Brought to you by Kevin's Imagination?
Pretty terrible title. Autobots for family.
All right, Autobots for family.
In asterisk, Dominic Toretto voice.
Fast and Furious 11. Autobot World Jurassic.
What would we call that movie crossover that horrible movie I came up with?
We would call it
Jurassic Prime.
Jurassic Prime.
Fast and Jurassic Prime.
Transformers. Fast and Jurassic.
Fast and Jurassic. And then it's just the cover art for the box though is just Grimlock doing a Godzilla pose, but like with his tongue out going. Ah!
And there's Hammurabi. He's alive. This is a different timeline. So he's
Sam Witwicky's also back.
No.
Are you not about my boy Sam?
No, I'm not.
Are you not a Shia LaBeouf fan?
I'm a Shia LaBeouf fan. I'm not a Sam Witwicky fan.
Why not?
Transformers don't need to be about people. They're called Transformers.
You have to have fantasy stories in the human world. That's how you get.
They don't.
Oh my god.
They have their own planet. It's called Cybertron. They can have a movie based about that. Which I'm still waiting on, Hollywood. Bastards.
All right.
So, Fast and Jurassic, 10, 7, 11, whatever number they're on.
The positive note for this episode is that you've made it this far. It is whatever time it is where you're at right now, and you've made it there. And you were at that time the day before, and you didn't think you'd make it that far, and you did. So you made it. And I know that's not that encouraging. Because you're like, yeah, but I had to get through all that. But you could do it again. And probably again after that. You got this.
Don't ever ask Kevin for a pep talk. Somehow I feel worse after listening to you ramble about you did it. You did it. You're just one head pat away from super condescending. Boy, good job, listeners. You made it through our terrible podcast that I've told you to leave 8 times.
It's like reverse psychiatry, okay?
Like reverse psychiatry. That's the title. Reverse psychiatry.
Oh, I'm laughing
What
too
if
hard.
we could be? What if we were nerds that knew words and phrases and stay on topic?
Okay.
That's your positive note for the. I'm glad you made it to this time at this place. Good job. Keep on chugging along. Kevin's proud of you.
I mean, I'm kind of proud of you.
That was the most generic. That was like a Dollar Tree Christmas card. That's what that was.
It hurts to laugh. It's hard. Oh.
Oh shoot.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but
The positive
you
note
made
is
it.
over.
It is over, guys. We're gonna wrap this one up, put a little bow on it, and post it online.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Our little tangents. We're trying to get a little bit more nerdy.
I don't even know what if this episode made sense. Is probably the best title.
What if? Let's go with that. What if this episode made sense?
Hashtag reverse psychiatry.
We hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that we could at least decorate your 1 hour space with at least a little bit of entertainment. If you enjoyed it, come back and join us next week. If you didn't, as always, tell your friends about it, and then just don't tell them that you didn't like it until after they've listened to it.
We gotta find a better way to say that.
No.
See you in the next one, folks.
Have a good night, everybody.
I can't, man.